Hi, this is Kama, and welcome to my tutorial on how to give feedback directly in its learning using color codes. First thing to notice is how I've closed this side panel on its learning. I find that it helps me concentrate. It gives me a little bit more space. Sometimes I even up the size a little bit to increase the size up to 125. And you can't see this here, but at the top I have actually pressed FN F11 so that I have a full screen and that the menu at the top and everything else doesn't get in the way. I want a clear and full screen. Okay, when I start giving a student feedback, I, I tell them that I'm going to be discussing structure, content, and language. And as far as the color codes I give them, it's important to note that we've already discussed color codes in class. We've done exercises how to improve color codes together and also in pairs so that they understand what it means when they receive different color codes. Depending on the essay, feedback can take anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes. A little bit shorter if there's not much to give feedback on. Those are really easy. And then sometimes it takes me a little bit longer because I see clear 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 problems that I want to address and that I want to help the student understand. And the reason I do this as a video or as a film clip is because it's so much easier for the student to understand and go back and listen to. And I've been given the students that I've had to tell me that they prefer to get video clips from me. So that's why I do this. Another reason why I give color codes is because, first of all, I have difficulties in seeing large trends in a text if I don't color code, and also it makes it more visual for my students so if I give color codes, they are reminded that, okay, I really need to work on my simplify and rephrase or something like that. So let's get started. I am now going to give feedback to a student. So this is an example of exactly what I would do. Okay, I've read your essay, and I have to say this shows definite potential both in language and content. I will be commenting on structure, content, and language. Structure first, then with the color codes as far as content and language are concerned, because sometimes those color codes also have to do with content. So let's get started. Structure first. First of all, you can center your title, but I like that you keep it in the same font, same size as the rest of your text, and no spacing needed between your title and your introduction. Second of all, structure. I would have liked to see your thesis here to make sure that are you in fact addressing your thesis statement. That is the last sentence in your introduction. Having said that, though, your topic sentences make it clear which task you chose, and they are also quite clear, so it is obvious that you actually had that thesis in mind. But next time, make sure that you get that thesis down first, at least the makings of a thesis, so that you stay on track. Your first topic sentence, again, sorry. The most obvious characters that S.E. Sinton may have had in mind as being outsiders in her novel are Ponyboy Curtis and Johnny Cade. I think that works. I'm going to get back to color codes afterwards, and I'm not going to give you more color codes than the first paragraph because I want you to look at those color codes and translate them to the rest of your text. But back to structure. Let's take a look at your second topic sentence. At first glance, Dallas Winston and Soda Pop Curtis both seem like they are confident, satisfied with their position in their group. Here, I think you should have a clearer topic sentence. What is this paragraph about? Are you talking about theme? Are you talking about what is it? So you need to be much clearer here so that you guide your reader through your paragraph. All right, next and final topic sentence. Throughout the whole story, we see these themes that suggest the feeling of loneliness and being on the outside of things. I think it's a clear topic sentence, but I couldn't help myself with the color coding here because I'm not going to be color coding at the bottom of your text. So throughout the story, we instead of see these themes, we encounter themes that suggest the feeling of loneliness and being on the outside. I think, or being an outsider, I think would be even more precise. So notice when I give you this green, you have several words that could actually be, we could raise the level by being more precise and simplifying. So simplifying doesn't mean, simplifying actually often means that we're increasing this level of academic English. All right, so we've discussed structure. Now let's take a look at color coding. And as I said, I'm just going to comment on that first paragraph, but I've already talked to you about content as far as this topic sentence, so you need to make sure that are you on track here? But I have to say I do see that you definitely have a good grasp on the content. Just make sure that you listen to my feedback now and translate that to the rest of your text. All right, first sentence. The most obvious characters that S.E. Hinton may have had in mind as being the outsiders in her novel are Ponyboy Curtis and Johnny Cade. If you put a verb phrase like this in and typed it into Power Thesaurus, you would probably find a more precise verb. And sometimes when you have longer sentences, you want to make sure that you are precise in your vocabulary. Those words that you can simplify, rephrase, you want to do that. So how about the verb to consider? The most obvious characters that S.E. Hinton may have considered as being the outsiders in her novel are Ponyboy Curtis and Johnny Cade. Okay, moving on. You say Johnny and Ponyboy right after these two, so it would be pink repetition, but I don't think it is because here you have the complete name, here you have the first name, so I think it works. What I don't think works is because this sentence, listen to it, Johnny and Ponyboy are throughout the whole story portrayed as being the introverted wallflowers of their group. They usually don't speak up for themselves and prefers not to cause a scene. Okay, I think this sentence needs work. First of all, it's long. That's not the problem. But when it's long, you need to make sure that you have clear structure. Here you have an interrupter in this first complete sentence. And I think we should move that to the beginning, all right? So that we don't stop, because with an interrupter, I stop. But so let's move it. Throughout the story, so you just said novel, so I like that story. Throughout the story, instead of whole story, Johnny and Ponyboy are portrayed as being the introverted wallflowers of the group. So let's take a look at that. I think introverted wallflower, I think it's a little bit informal, so I think we need to change it. And then let's read the next part. They usually don't speak up for themselves and prefers not to cause a scene. So we're talking about this introversion because they're not speaking up for themselves and they don't want to cause a scene, but we need to change this wording. So how about something like are portrayed as, and to add a little bit of end weight to the sentence, maybe we could say as decent, conscientious, yet introverted, yet reserved members of their gang. Okay, and here you could end that sentence if you wanted to. If you don't want to end it and you have a comma there, you need to put a conjunction. So, for example, and they usually do not speak up for themselves. Another alternative with two complete sentences after each other is put a semicolon. That way you don't have to add a conjunction. So, throughout the story, Johnny and Ponyboy are portrayed as conscientious yet reserved members of their gang, semicolon, a little bit of a longer break. They usually do not speak up for themselves and prefer not to cause a scene, period. That sentence now works. What doesn't work is going towards from this introversion straight to a lack of, and I think you mean brotherly love or affection here, because you don't explain yourself. So you move from one strong argument to the next without an example. So that's why I put example here. Okay, so once you've written an example, then I would add a linking word here because you're now going to continue talking about them. And here I would say, furthermore, in the early stages of the book, we witness, and you've said novel, story, and now book. I like that you're varying your language. In the early stages of the book, we witness a lack of affection between several members of the gang. And since I said gang here, maybe you want to change this to greasers, making sure that we vary our language at all times. And here again, you have two complete sentences, so you can't have that comma there, but I'm thinking since we put a semicolon here, let's keep the comma there and add a conjunction. Furthermore, in the early stages of the book, we witness a lack of affection between several members of the gang, and Johnny is even described as being the gang's pet. All right. All right, so, and I'm thinking here, okay, so we talk about this affection. Following the big turning point of the story, we see both of these characters mature and become more confident, would be better, I think, as they find themselves in more socially challenging situations. Okay, so this is good. So you're talking about this maturity, but we also talked about this familiar love. So I'm thinking, okay, instead of going to the straight to the ending, what's your point with this affection? So you may want to either right after that sentence or to tie these two things together, you may want to add a little bit more about that love and affection. So you're saying this maturity and growing confidence, and perhaps you also want to say it is also clear that they have developed a stronger relationship. That way you tie your thoughts together with one sentence here about affection, maturity, and confidence. Then I would add a little bit of a simple linking word, so, comma, it makes sense to say that Ponyboy and Johnny are the outsiders of the novel at the beginning, comma, but as they mature, I think, comma there, but as they mature, and then I think we need to simplify this. I think as they mature, this both encompasses that affection and also this confidence. So why not keep it simple? But as they mature, they are no longer on the outside. And instead of all of these words saying they are no longer on the outside, it's a shorter phrase, it's stronger, that gives you end weight in your paragraph. You want end weight in your sentences, and you want end weight in your paragraphs. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I hope this helps, and we will continue to work on this in our next class together. All right, so that was an example of how I give feedback to a student. I have to say I gave a little bit more explanation than I would in some situations, but I wanted to also explain to you and show you how I work as far as content flow is concerned, as far as language flow is concerned, and also structure is concerned. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just let me know.